Hi there, I am Aman and you're watching PTO classes. So, in this video, we are going to learn a very important topic of grade 9th grammar, that is modals. Modals, students, you have been learning from your early stages, but particularly in 9th and 10th, it is very important as the exercises comes in the form of gap filling and editing, and for that you need to learn modals, prepositions, conjunctions, um, determiners, subject verb agreement, all these topics of grammar very carefully. So you must have seen that in 9th and 10th in the exam the editing and gap filling comes, and it comes and you have to do the exercises in which you have to fill the gaps, or you have to do the editing, but this is done only through having the knowledge of grammar very very minutely. So the topics that are modals, prepositions, conjunctions and others, these are very essential in order to uh, grab the concepts and do those exercises of editing and gap filling in your exams. Now we are going to study modals in this video, and in the next video we will see the subject verb agreement, and later on we will continue with prepositions, determiners and others, and after the completion of these exercises we will do the exercises of after completion of the chapters rather, we will do the exercises of editing and gap filling which comes in your exam. But in order to do the exercises of editing and gap filling, you need to learn the concepts of grammar, and we are just starting to do so. So without wasting much time, let's start modals. So the first thing you need to be clear about that what modals are. So modal auxiliaries are verbs such as can, must, could and would, which are used with main verbs to express such ideas as possibility, permission, necessity or obligation. The verbs like shall, will, all these are known as auxiliary verbs, and you were asking me in the chapter of tenses that where to use shall and where to use will. So I have told you at that time also that we are going to study this deeply in the chapter of modals. So in this chapter we will see that where to use will, where to use shall, where we can use can, where we must use must, where we could use could, and where we would use would. So all these concepts will be cleared in this video, and this will later help you in doing the exercises of gap filling and editing. So let's begin with shall and will. So first, before going into shall and will, let's see three quick points: the nature or characteristics of modals. So the nature of the modals: they are never used alone. They must have a principal or the main verb with them. See the example. The modal can is here. I can play the violin. So here you see that the modal verb can is used before the main verb play. So the first point, they are never used alone. They must have a principal verb or a main verb with them. So it is clear. Second point, they have the same form throughout, whatever the person and number of subject. The subject verb agreement we will see in the next chapter, but here you can see that they have the same form throughout whatever the person and numbers are. So modals remain same. They're single. They don't change their forms as singular or plural. They remain the same no matter the subject or the person changes in number. See, I can run. They can run. You can run. So in all three situations, the modal doesn't change its form. I can run, they can run, you can run. So it doesn't become they can't run. So the modal will not change its form. You have understood the first and second point. Now see the third point. They do not have infinitives or participle form. What is infinitives? When we use to with the verbs. For example, to sing, to play, to learn. So all these are infinitives, and they don't have infinitives. Modals don't have infinitives. To can, to will, to shall, it never happens. Or the participle, you have seen the participle forms, or the ing form, it is never there with the modals. There will be never a canning or shelling or willing. So I hope you have got the third point. So these three are the basic nature of modals. Now let's go into the main thing, the main chapter about modals. The most important modals, shall and will. Mostly we people are confused between where to use shall and will. Shall, let me tell you first that shall is very uncommon in modern world. Now we hardly use shall anywhere because we use will every time, and will is not exactly wrong, but it is not properly correct as well. In grammatical terms, it is not that correct. It is neither that wrong. We can use will in the statements, in the affirmative sentences. It is okay to use the will, but there are situations where we can use shall. But if you don't use it, it is nothing wrong. But when comes the interrogative sentences, we must be very cautious while using shall and will. There we can't ignore the grammatical terms. So let us see that where we can use shall and where we can use will. See, I have made this small chart for you. You can understand by it very easily that where do we use shall and where do we use will. So see, in normal future, with I and we, with first person, we use shall. In normal future, what is normal future? See, I shall wait for you at the train station. In anything which is a normal condition, a simple future tense, you can say that I shall wait for you at the train station. But in the case of a strong future, when the situation is very intense, when something strong is there, the modal that we will use for the first person will be will. I will get an A on this exam, I promise. So you are determined that you will get an A. So you will not use shall with it. When you are determined, when you're making a promise, when you are making some determination, then you will always use will with the first person. This chart you will make in your notebook also. So see, when there is normal future, when there is a normal thing, when we are saying something very general, then we use shall always with I. But if you will use will, that will also be fine, it is not wrong. But if we go deeply into the grammatical terms, into the grammatical concepts, we should use shall when the thing is in normal future, the thing is very general. See, I shall wait for you at the train station, but we normally say I will wait for you at the train station. But here you are just making a general remark, so you should use shall. But if the situation is in strong future, when you're determined about something, when you're making a promise, you will use will with the first person. Example, I will get an A on this exam. Now see the example for, now see the situation for the second and third persons. See, you, he, she, it, they, the second person you, the third person he. So in these we do the opposite of the first one. While we were using shall in the normal future, we will use will in the normal future with the second and third person. In first person we were using shall for the normal future and will for the strong future. We will do the exact opposite for the second and third person. See, you will find the book in the locker. You are making a general remark, you are just saying a general statement. This is something very normal, so you will use will with the second and third person. But when you are determined about something, when you are making a strong statement, you will use shall in the second and third person. See, you shall finish your homework before you go out to play. Here you are making a strong statement, you are saying something, you are commanding something to someone, so you will use shall in the second and third person. Now to better understand the use of shall and will, we will see that where to use shall and will in a deeper sense. See, shall is used in the first person and will in the second and third persons to express simple future tense, as I have told you through the chart. See, I shall start tomorrow. So it is a simple future tense, a simple thing. So we will use shall. He will go home today. So here it is the third person, simple future tense. So we are using will. You will admit that he was in the wrong company. Here again you are making a general remark. So will is used with the normal future with simple future tense with second and third persons. Now see the use of will in the first person. Will in the first person, here we have seen in simple future tense we use shall with the first person, but where to use will in the first person? See, when we want to express some intention, promise, threat and determination. The thing that I've told you through the chart, the strong future. See, I will go home today. Here you are showing your intention. I will go home today. You will not say that I shall go home today. Here you are not not predicting your future. You are not making a general statement, but you are showing your intention. So you will use will. Second, when you are making a promise, that is a strong future. See, I will try to do better next time. Here you are making a strong, you are using it in the strong future, you are using it as a promise, so you will use will in the first person in when you are making a promise. I will try to do better next time. See, in case of a threat, you use will when it is also a very strong thing, a threat to someone, so you will use will. I will avenge his death. Last, the determination. When you are determined about something, you will use will in the first person. You can use will in the first person. Earlier I have told you that where to use will and shall according to the first and second and third persons, according to the uh, normal and strong futures. But here you see, according to the situation, that where we can use will in the first persons. Okay, you have got shall is used for normal, shall is used for simple future tense, and will is used for simple future tense for second and third person. Shall is used for first person, and will is used in first person to show some strong futures, to show your intention about something, to promise about something, to make a threat, to show your determination. So got it? Now see the third situation. Shall in the second and third person expresses command, promise, threat and determination. So we have seen that will is used in first person to show all these things. The same thing, it is the similar thing that was there in the chart. I've just elaborated it. You can either learn it through the chart, or you can learn these things. It is for your better knowledge. So it is the same thing that was there in the box. Here you have more examples to learn it in a better way. See, shall in the second and third persons expresses command, promise, threat and determination. Now remember the chart, that shall, where shall was used in second and third person for the strong future. Here command, promise, threat, all these are very strong situations. See, you shall do it just now. Here you have used shall with you. And where you will use shall for first person, when you want to do some strong, when you want to predict some strong future. So these all are there. You shall do it just now, it is an order. He shall leave at once. Again, see, first one was the second person, second example is the third person. See how to do it as a threat. You shall be punished for what you have done. Here we have used threat and we have used shall. Okay. Similarly, the man shall die for this offense. Here we have used shall as a threat for second and third person. But while we are using for the first person, we will use will. So with will, with first person, if we want to predict some strong future, if we want to express these feelings, command, promise, threat or determination with the first person, we will use will. And if we want to do the same with the second and third person, we will use shall. So all these you must learn very carefully. He shall get his dues just now. Here you are making promise, so with he you will use shall. But if you want to promise with the first person, you will use will. I will get his dues just now. When you want to promise something in the first person, you will use will. And when you are doing the same with the second or third person, you will use shall. Hope you have understood it. If any confusion is there, you can ask, but go through these very carefully and it is just a cakewalk. See, wherever a strong future you want to predict something very strong, you want to talk about something very strong, when you want to make a command, you want to make a promise, when you want to make a threat, when you want to show your determination, in the second and third person you will use shall. And when you want to do the same with the first person, you will use will. Similarly, when you are saying for the when you are making just a general remark, for the first person you will use shall, and for the second and third person you will use will. So the roles get reversed. Go through the chart and you will have very ease to grab all these concepts, all the concepts, and these are for your help to get some examples. So you shall carry out my orders. Here you are showing your determination. So with you, with the second person, you have used shall. While if you wanted to use you wanted to show the determination for the first person, you would have used will. I will carry out my orders. When you are showing the determination for the first person, you will use will, and similarly for the second person, you will use shall. Shall and will use in interrogative sentences. So see very carefully that how to use shall and will as interrogative sentences. So shall in the first person and will in the second and third persons expresses simple future tense. This you all know. So again, you just have to make questions out of the first situation. See, I shall go home, a simple future. You were saying, you were making a simple prediction, you were making a general remark, so you have used shall for the first person. And when you are making a question out of this, you will just put shall at the beginning. Shall I go home? You will not say will I go home. Will I go home means you are making a statement, and if you want to make a question, you will use shall. But for the second and third person, you will use will. Shall you accompany me? It is wrong. So what you will do? Will you accompany me? See, you will accompany me. So you make the question, will you accompany me? So the same thing is there. You can understand it through the chart, that how to make the questions. Now coming to the second point, shall in the first and third person and will in the second person shows the wish or intention of the speaker. See, shall I buy you a watch? Shall he go with you? Will you help me? Will you lend me some money? Again, the chart, you should go through it, that where to use in normal, where we have to use will in simple future tense with the first person, and where we have to use shall for the same. So now we have should and would. So where to use should and where to use would, we will see in this slide. So would and should are the past tenses of will and shall. So would is the past tense for will and should is the past tense for shall. So you see where would is used and what it expresses. See, first, determination. You have seen in the definition that would is the past tense of will, but not always it is used to frame a sentence in past tense. It can be used for future tense also. See, the first, determination. You're showing your determination, you will use would. When you're sure about something, you say will, that I will do my best, I will have my way. You're pretty sure, but here you are showing your determination, that you're determined that you will do that thing, but it is not confirmed that you will surely do it. See, determination, you are determined about something, that I would have my way. You're determined that you will have your way. I would have my way. So when you're showing your determination, you use would. Habitual action. See, he would sit all day with a book in his hand. Here you're commenting about a habit of some person, the action that he does habitually, that he would sit all day with the book in his hand. Willingness, you show your willingness about something, that you want to do something or you want to have something, that your willingness is shown through would, that I would do my best to satisfy you. You're showing your willingness that you would do your best to satisfy someone. Now wish, you're showing your wish, you're making a wish, that would that I were healthy. Here it is in past tense, that if I would have been healthy, things would have been different. Would that I were healthy. Now see, should is used to express duty. See, duty, we should keep our word. Here again you have seen that should is the past tense of shall, but it is not used in the past form in the sentence. The sentence is not framed in the past tense. See, you're showing your duty with should. We should keep our word. So should is used to express some duty. Supposition, when you're supposing something, that if I should meet him now, he will not recognize me. If I should meet him now, he will not recognize me. अगर मैं उसे अब मिला तो वह मुझे पहचान नहीं पाएगा. So advice, when you are making an advice to someone, that you should take care of yourself. Here we use should. Polite request, should I help you? You're making a polite request to someone that should I help you? So here we use should. Got it? Where to use should and would, and where to use these in which situations you have to use. And you have already got that would and should are the past forms of will and shall, and where to use the following situations are given in the slide. You have to note it down in your notebook. Now may and can are used to express possibility, permission, wish or purpose. See, he may succeed in the work. Here you are showing a possibility that he may succeed in the work. May I do it for you? You're showing a possibility that may I do it for you. You are seeking the permission here. Possibility was in the first sentence that he may succeed in the work. Now in second sentence you are seeking the permission of someone that may I do it for you. You are asking for the permission from someone. Now the third, may you live long. It is a wish. You wish for someone's good health, that you're saying may you live long. Now the last one, he works hard so that he may pass. He works hard so that he may pass. So here you are showing the purpose through may. What is the purpose behind working hard? To pass. So the purpose behind working hard, that he may pass. Now see, can is used to express power or permission. I can swim across a river. You're saying that I can swim across a river. You're showing your power, that you're so powerful that you can swim across a river. Now see the second sentence for permission. How can is used for seeking permission. You can go now. Sorry, you are giving the permission that you can go now. To seek permission you use may. To seek permission you use may. May I do it for you? Now you are giving the permission, so you are using can, that you can go now. Got it? Now see, might and could. So where to use might and where to use could. Might and could are the past tenses of may and can. Same way that would and should are the past tenses for will and shall. Similarly, might and could are the past forms of may and can. First, might. Let's see how where to use might and what might expresses. Might expresses a suggestion, B a possibility, C a purpose. So a suggestion is expressed by using might. He might join college. He might join college. You're making a suggestion that he might join college. You're suggesting to someone that maybe someone will join the college. He might join the college. B possibility. You are showing the possibility that he might win a prize. Difference between suggestion and possibility, you all know that you are suggesting that he might join the college to someone, and now possibility, you are showing the possibility of someone getting a prize, that he might win a prize. So for possibility also you can use might. Now purpose, to show your purpose behind something, that you use might. He worked hard that he might live. Why he worked hard? He worked hard so that he can live. He worked hard that he might live. Again, for showing the purpose, you use might. And might and could are the past tenses of may and can. This already I have told you. Now see could. Where to use could? Could expresses power or ability to do a thing or a polite request, or to make a polite request. Could expresses power or ability to do a thing or to make a polite request. See the first example. Could you please let me have your book? Here you are making a polite request to someone, that could you please let me have your book. So it is making a polite request by using could. Now see the last one. How to use could to show your power. He tried hard but could not lift it. So here could is used. You are showing you are showing the power in negative sense, that he tried hard but he could not lift it. So he tried hard but could not lift it. So the power is shown in a negative sense through could, that he tried hard but could not lift it. So again it is showing the power or polite request through could. So we got it, how to use might and could, where to use might and could rather. Might and could are the past tenses of may and can. And where to use might? Might is used for a suggestion, a possibility, a purpose, and could is used to express a power or ability, or it is used to make a polite request. Now coming to the last part of your lecture, must, need, ought and dare. These are also some modals, modal verbs that we use generally. And see, must expresses some compulsion. When you're compelled to do something, when you have the compulsion to do a particular thing, you use must. That when you're showing the compulsion, that you must do your work on time, you're compelled to do your work on time, it is mandatory, so you use must. You must eat your breakfast, you must study every day, you must do your work on time. So need, second is need. Need is used to express necessity. Need is used to express the necessity. See, he need not to go. He need not to go. It is not necessary for him to go. Now see, ought. Ought is used to indicate duty or correctness. It is followed by present infinitive or perfect infinitive. See, ought is used to indicate some duty or correctness of something. See the example, we ought to help our neighbors. So it is our duty to help our neighbors. So we use ought. We ought to help our neighbors. And see here it is written that it is followed by present infinitive. See, what is present? What is infinitive? Infinitive verbs you must have known. You must know that to play, to sing, all these are infinitive verbs, and to is the present infinitive. We ought to help our neighbors. So ought is followed by to. And see the next example, you ought to have gone by now. You have already learned the perfect tenses, that we use have and has in perfect tenses. So here have is used after the infinitive. To, you ought to have gone by now. And here you are showing the correctness of something, that it would have been correct that if you would have gone by now. You ought to have gone by now. Last is dare. Dare as the meaning of the word is cleared. That dare, what does dare means? Dare to show your, and means to show your courage. Dare means to have courage to do something. You dare not do this. So I hope you have understood all these, and hope you have understood the models. It is very useful, and we must have the knowledge of models if you want to learn English language. If you want to learn grammar, we must be habitual with models. We must learn models thoroughly, and hope you have understood the video, understood the chapter. And if you have any queries, feel free to ask. You have to do all this work in your fair notebook, grammar notebook. You will note down all the definitions, you will make that chart, and you will do it in the fair notebook. We will do the grammar exercises of editing and gap filling once we complete all the grammar concepts like modals we have already done. Subject verb agreement we will do next, then determiners, prepositions, conjunctions, all we will do. Then we will do gap filling and conjunctions. So hope you have understood the lecture. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and look forward for the future videos. Thank you so much for watching the lecture.